Oxford may be one of the favourites for promotion from the Blue Square Premier, but they fell behind at home to York, Richard Brodie converting at the second attempt. But with just 2 minutes left, Luke Foster knocked the ball forward and Matt Green opened United's account for the new season. Then in stoppage time, new signing Mark Crichton made sure the U's made a dramatic and winning start, tidying up from a corner.
Oxford had to settle for a draw after their hard-fought game at Kettering. The home side in front after winning and converting a penalty. Oxford quickly level. Kevin Sandwith sent off in this fixture last year, getting his name noted for the right reasons. Oxford's manager says this season will be a rollercoaster ride. This game had enough ups and downs to last Chris Wilder most of the season. Matt Green put Oxford in front in an otherwise uneventful first half, but the second half exploded into life. Histon's equaliser came barely a minute after the break. Simon Clist restored United's lead within 50 seconds. What a goal, and what a body blow for Histon. Their goalkeeper decided he'd dish out a body blow of his own, and his assault on Green led to him seeing red. Oxford capitalised, and the first two touches the home side's replacement keeper had were to pick the ball out of the net. James Constable was last season's top scorer for Oxford. He's got his first two of the new campaign now. You'd think then Oxford would cruise to victory. So did they, and they almost paid dearly for that complacency as Histon hit 2 goals in the final 10 minutes. It was still a win for Oxford United, but Chris Wilder probably didn't know whether to laugh or cry by the end. It's more than 2 years since Oxford last topped the conference, but they're back at the summit after a second half demolition of Chester. Patience paying off as James Constable didn't break the deadlock until just before the hour mark. He was involved in the build-up for the second goal, Matt Green the man who converted it. But the night belonged to Constable, who completed his hat-trick with 2 goals in the final 6 minutes. Oxford are unbeaten and they're top of the table. They just have to keep it going for another 8 months. Oxford matches tend to avoid the non-league stereotype of being rough, tough affairs. This didn't. It was bruising and direct, but Oxford proved they're no longer a soft touch by beating Stevenage. Little Alfie Potter with a little bit of magic to put them a goal up. The game was so physical, it was a miracle there were no red cards. The decisive goal came from Adam Murray midway through the second half. But there was still time for 90th minute nerves from Oxford. Stevenage hit the bar and then they hit the net, inevitably through their former U striker Yemi Odebaid. But Oxford hung on and they stayed top of the conference.
It's still a good time to be joining Oxford. The team are top of the league. The boss is manager of the month, and as proved on Saturday when they won at Wimbledon, there's resilience too. When things don't go to plan, they can even rely on a keeper who's in good form. The fans are doing all they can to make sure it stays that way. All have been going well, but yesterday at the Kassam Stadium, several chances went begging, and the team were held to a frustrating goalless draw by Forest Green. The 12th man fund was called upon.
They had a comfortable 2-0 victory at Ebbsfleet. Pinpoint long-range passes from Adam Murray helped the U's unlock the home side's defence, who struggled all afternoon to deal with the pace of Matt Green. Green scored United's first midway through the first half, and he was heavily involved in the second, which came 90 seconds later. Simon Clist with a blistering volley. It could have been more for Oxford. James Constable was denied in the second half, but Oxford will have been satisfied with the victory.
It was an evening full of tension and drama. The kick-off had to be delayed to get as many fans as possible in, but many will have missed the early penalty that was awarded to Oxford. But so did James Constable. United's leading scorer wouldn't be denied for long. It was only a matter of seconds later that, set up by Matt Green, Constable struck to put Oxford a goal up. When Oxford fans shelled out to sign Jamie Cook last week, he said he would repay them on the pitch. Supporters will consider his goal last night as a healthy down payment. Luton are a dangerous side, but their prospects of a comeback in the game were all but ended when their captain Kevin Nicholls was sent off for this foul on Matt Green. Oxford are now 5 points clear, the only side in the conference with an unbeaten record.
Oxford are a mammoth 7 points clear at the top of the conference. James Constable's headed goal enough to give them the win in Wales. Both sides finished the match with 10 men. Frank Sinclair was the first to see red. The red mist then descended on him and his manager Dean Saunders, who was also sent on his way by the referee. United squandered a couple of decent opportunities to make the game safe late on. They also ended with 10 men after the dismissal of Stephen Kinneborough, but more importantly, they finished with 3 points.
On the face of it, a 4-0 victory should be cause for celebration at the Kassam Stadium, but not according to the manager. Matt Green had United a goal up midway through the first half, and United found their groove. It was soon 2-0, James Constable with his 8th of the season. A third from Jamie Cook was the pick of the goals, but it didn't lead to a second half avalanche. In fact, United were lucky not to concede for the first time in 6 games. That run equals a club record, and the U's have now gone 11 matches without defeat. Jack Midson got the 4th for Oxford late on, but it didn't spare him or his teammates from the wrath of Chris Wilder.
It had to happen at some point, and Oxford United's first defeat of the new season came at Mansfield. After 6 clean sheets, the U's conceded 2 goals in 4 first-half minutes. The home side, who hadn't won in 4 attempts, couldn't believe their luck when they were 2-0 up at the break. Though Oxford did have a chance to reduce the arrears, Jamie Cook seeing his strike come back off the crossbar. After half-time, Oxford rallied, but James Constable's 9th goal of the season wasn't enough to prevent their first away defeat in 2009. Despite United's late pressure, Mansfield hung on. Oxford do still have a 7-point lead at the top of the conference.
Matt Green was the headline maker for United in the game, which was at Gateshead. He came close to scoring in the first half. Oxford thought they were in front shortly after half-time, but the referee adjudged that the Gateshead keeper had been fouled. United weren't to be denied victory though. Green got the winner, and the goal means that Oxford have restored their 8-point advantage at the top of the conference.
Oxford maintained their 8-point lead at the top of the conference with the win against Crawley. They were given an early advantage through Adam Chapman. But if the match had the sublime, it also had the ridiculous. United bemused by the free kick awarded against them here, and they were bamboozled by their former player Jefferson Louis' strike, which deflected in. He compounded their frustration with his goal celebration. Crawley were creeping into the game, and Louis could have put them in front early in the second half. Oxford stepped up a gear, and Stephen Kinneborough scored a breathtaking goal to restore their lead. The game wrapped up 7 minutes from time when Jack Midson tapped in United's 3rd.
United's title bid in the conference was blown slightly off course at Barrow, not so much by the home team as by the gale force winds. Barrow took the advantage in the first half and took the lead, only for Oxford to reply. Oxford won a free kick in the second half, and Luke Foster headed the equaliser to celebrate his 100th start for United.
Where was the stress? That's what Oxford fans were asking. After years of seeing their side stretch every sinew to get 3 points from a home game, this was different. James Constable scored the first 2 goals in the game against Grays, taking his tally for the season to 11. On a hat-trick, breaking through on goal, what would you do in Constable's position? Well, he unselfishly squared the ball to Jamie Cook for United's 3rd. Constable then replaced by Jack Midson, but Oxford's assault on the Grays goal wouldn't end there. Midson tapped in the 4th and then broke through on goal, only to be brought down by the Grays keeper Preston Edwards. A second yellow card meant that he was sent off, and after Anwar Uddin had sorted out the gloves and the goalie shirt from the penalty spot, Midson made sure United went nap. Their biggest win for more than 8 years, and they're 9 points clear at the top of the conference.